Good evening, everyone. Welcome to NTD Tonight. I'm David Zhang. Here is a preview of some of today's top stories. A robbery in Alabama puzzles a local radio station. Thieves managed to steal their 200-foot radio tower. A shooting at the Chiefs' victory rally in Kansas. At least one died and 12 others injured as the police have now detained 2 people. A New Mexico police officer was killed by a man with a history of violent crimes. Police released more information in the case. In one of the strangest crimes you might hear about this year, thieves somehow made off with a 200-foot radio tower in Alabama. The radio station has been scratching their heads trying to figure it out. NTD's Jason Blair spoke with the station manager.
An Alabama radio station manager was shocked when a landscaper called him with the news.
They called me and told me that the tower was gone. So I said, "What do you mean the tower is gone?"
Somehow a thief or group of thieves managed to remove the large AM tower without anyone noticing.
Obviously, I was shocked that the tower was gone. So I asked him, if he could open up the door and tell me what he saw, and he looked in, and all the equipment was gone.
The brazen heist has forced the small operation to go off air and close down, at least for now.
We'll be back. We're going to be back.
Elmore said replacing the tower and stolen equipment is estimated to cost $60,000 to $100,000. For now, they are still streaming online and keeping their website and social media pages active.
This is going to take some time. And I'm hopeful that the FCC will grant us what we need and the time to kind of get us back on the air with a Band-Aid fix until we can get back to full strength. And we will.
So how did thieves get away with stealing the tower? Elmore said that the tower is located near an active poultry facility that currently has a large construction project going on.
If you cut this thing up into 10-foot sections and haul it out, a lot of people wouldn't have thought anything of it because it looks like scaffolding and maybe a part of the construction project.
Elmore said that stealing the tower is considered a federal crime. The police are currently looking into a couple of leads, and the station says that if they catch the perpetrator or perpetrators, they do plan on prosecuting them to the fullest extent of the law. He also said that people have been asking how they can help out the station, so they have a GoFundMe set up for people in case they do want to donate to help them get back on their feet. Jason Blair, NTD News.
Now let's take a look at other top headlines. A shooting in Kansas City, Missouri near a rally Wednesday celebrating the Chiefs' Super Bowl victory. About 1 million Chief fans lining the streets of Kansas City today for their back-to-back Super Bowl champions. But at the conclusion of the rally, there were shots fired west of Union Station near the garage, and several people were struck, a spokesman for the Kansas City Police Department said. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly was among those evacuated from the rally site. The police department did not identify suspects but said they have detained 2 people who were armed. 1 person has been confirmed dead, multiple people were injured, and 5 were reportedly hospitalized. The condition of the victims remained unclear. We'll keep you updated as additional information is made available. Democrat Tom Suozzi edged out Republican Mazi Phillip in a special election in New York yesterday. Suozzi flipped the seat formerly occupied by ousted Republican George Santos. This victory means the Democratic Party gains another seat in an already precariously balanced House.
Despite the dirty tricks, despite the vaunted Nassau County Republican machine, we won.
Tom Suozzi previously served in the House of Representatives from 2017 to 2023 for the same district. He is a familiar face to Long Islanders, holding various positions in Nassau County in the last 30 years. His opponent, Republican County legislator Mazi Phillip, is lesser known, but she had the Nassau County Republican Party supporting her campaign. Both candidates are staunch supporters of Israel in its war against Hamas. During his campaign, Suozzi focused on immigration, He declared support for the bipartisan deal to address the border crisis and criticized Philip for her position. Philip took a hardline position on immigration. In her campaign, she hammered Suozzi and the Democratic Party, accusing them of failing to control border crossings. She was also endorsed by labor union for border patrol officers. With a record-setting number of illegal crossings, immigration will remain a top issue leading up to the November election.
On this vote, the yeas are 214 and the nays are 213. The resolution is adopted.
The House of Representatives voted to impeach Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas yesterday. He is the first cabinet secretary to be impeached in close to 150 years. President Biden decried the vote as a blatant act of unconstitutional partisanship. The Department of Homeland Security, after the House vote, accused the Republicans of trampling on the Constitution. 3 Republicans voted against the measure: Representatives Mike Gallagher, Tom Clintock, and Ken Buck. Congressman Buck called it a policy difference after the vote that, in his view, didn't qualify as a high crime and misdemeanor.
You can try to put lipstick on this pig. It is still a pig, and this is a terrible impeachment. It sets a terrible precedent.
Buck says that an impeachment needs to be broadly bipartisan, and that it was wrong for Johnson to bring the vote to the floor. Articles of impeachment will now be sent to the Senate. Senators are set to be sworn in as jurors after returning from recess at the end of this month. For more information on the border crisis going on at the U.S.-Mexico border, tune in to NTD Good Morning tomorrow, bright and early at 7 a.m. Eastern. Evelyn Lee will be joined by Arizona Republican Senate candidate Carrie Lake to talk about the influx of illegal immigration through the Arizona border and the policies she thinks should be in place to combat this growing crisis. The Northeast could be bracing for even more snow. Another winter storm is expected to hit the region by tomorrow. A winter storm system started to develop this morning in the upper Midwest. Winter storm warnings are in effect for parts of South Dakota and Minnesota. The storm system is expected to push into the Great Lakes region overnight and eventually reach the Northeast by Thursday afternoon. Forecasters say parts of New England could see several inches of snow. This comes as parts of the region already saw the heaviest snow in years yesterday. A man was killed in Pennsylvania after his snowmobile crashed. Tuesday's snowstorm also caused school closures and flight cancellations. A New Mexico police officer was killed by a man with a history of violent crimes. Both are now deceased. The city's police department now reveals new information surrounding this case.
A man who fatally stabbed a police officer in southern New Mexico over the weekend had a long criminal record. According to the Las Cruces Police Department on Tuesday, the death of Las Cruces patrol officer Jonah Hernandez marked the first on-duty death among officers in the 96-year-old history of the city's police department.
Our department is wounded right now, and yet we remain committed to this city and to each other. We will mourn the loss of our brother forever, and we will never forget his sacrifice for the people of Las Cruces.
Authorities initially received a call Sunday afternoon that 29-year-old Armando Silva was trespassing on a private property at a Las Cruces business. Hernandez was dispatched without any backup after the call from the property owner.
When he arrived, Armando Silva immediately attacked him with a large kitchen knife. For no reason whatsoever, Silva killed Officer Hernandez. A witness saw the unprovoked attack, retrieved a firearm from their vehicle, and confronted the murderer. Silva tried to attack the witness and was shot at least once. Silva later died from his injuries.
35-year-old Hernandez suffered at least one stab wound and died at a local hospital. He leaves behind his wife and 2 sons, ages 2 and 10, plus his parents and 2 siblings. As for Silva, stories said the man has a long history of violent crime and mental illness. He was also homeless.
He was arrested for kidnapping, aggravated battery with great bodily harm on a household member, battery on a household member in 2015. He was convicted of serious violent crimes and spent some time in prison. He violated his probation and parole multiple times and was sent back and completed that sentence.
Court records show Silva was sentenced in 2017 to 3 years in prison after pleading guilty in a domestic violence case, and in 2019, he cut off his GPS bracelet and was found with drugs in his possession. A public safety assessment filed in early 2023 showed Silva had both prior misdemeanor and felony convictions and had failed to appear in court previously.
In Southern California, downtown LA graffiti covered skyscraper draws base jumpers, leading to multiple arrests. NTD's Stephanie Sikal reports.
Base jumpers are now leaping off a graffiti-covered skyscraper in downtown LA, prompting 23 arrests. Videos on social media show individuals paragliding from the 40 and 45-story towers at Oceanwide Plaza. The city is actively trying to prevent dangerous stunts while holding the building owner responsible. LAPD Chief Michael Moore highlights the cost incurred by the police department, saying some officers are working overtime to keep taggers away. LA City Councilman Kevin De Leon has proposed allocating $3.8 million for security measures and set a deadline for the property owner to act, emphasizing the risk for potential loss of life. While efforts to deter taggers continue, some are capturing the building's graffiti using cameras and drones. Stephanie Sikal, NTD News.
We'll take a short break now, everybody, but here's a look at what we have for you when we come back. How do you move a cow stuck in mud? A team of California firefighters show us all it takes is some teamwork and determination. Valentine's is a busy day for Miami International Airport, but there's no time to stop and smell the roses, as officials process millions of incoming flowers. Russia and Belarus continue to be banned from the Ice Hockey World Championships, while the 49ers fire their defensive coordinator. Those stories and more coming up on NTD Tonight. Welcome back to NTD Tonight. I'm your host, David Zhang. In an utterly remarkable display of teamwork and determination, California firefighters came to rescue a cow stuck neck deep in mud. NTD's Christina Corona has more on how they moved the cow.
Firefighters dedicated several hours to freeing a Swiss Alp cow that was trapped in a deep mud pit on a ranch in Santa Barbara Monday. Scott Safechuk, spokesperson for the Santa Barbara County Fire Department, reported the rescue operation unfolded at Dos Pueblo Ranch around 4:30 p.m. Photo shared on Safechuk's X account shows the cow trapped up to its neck in mud. Firefighters reported the cow appeared severely exhausted, on the brink of collapse, after potentially being trapped for up to a day due to a minor mudslide. An extensive rescue operation began, requiring digging, prying, rolling, and utilizing wooden planks for leverage within the deep mud. 5 hours later, the cow was successfully freed from the mud and was so exhausted that it was wrapped in a blanket to rest and maintain warmth. Christina Corona, NTD News, California.
A second teen tragedy in less than 2 weeks. A 15-year-old daredevil dies train surfing in San Francisco, highlighting an alarming trend. Authorities strongly discourage such acts. NTD's Stephanie Sikal has the tragic story.
A 15-year-old thrill-seeker lost his life while surfing on top of a barred train in San Francisco, becoming the second teenager to die in 2 weeks engaging in this risky activity. The high school freshman, known for his daredevil videos on Instagram, posted clips of himself on moving trains. Despite his identity being undisclosed, his mother confirmed his association with the ad-exploiting Cans One account, where he showcased dangerous stunts atop bridges, cranes, and trains. Authorities found his remains using a drone, and his mother believes social media comments like one calling him the next Tom Cruise encouraged his risky behavior. This incident follows the death of 19-year-old Daniel Baran, who fell off a train after climbing out. The San Francisco Municipal Transportation Agency strongly discourages such acts, linking them to the rise in fatalities and mentioning a similar trend in New York City. Stephanie Sikal, NTD News.
Here's a fun fact for Valentine's Day. Did you know that 90% of Valentine's Day flowers come from South America? They get screened for foreign pests at airports so that people can safely enjoy them. Here's what the process looks like.
While Valentine's Day may not be known as a busy time for air travel, it's a busy time at Miami International Airport. Many of the nation's fresh-cut flowers arrive from South America. According to the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, about 90% of the roses and fresh-cut flowers sold for Valentine's Day in the U.S. come through Miami on their journey to florists and supermarkets across the U.S. and Canada. That equates to some 48,000 tons of flowers passing through Miami.
This season, we transport around 460 million flowers from Ecuador and Colombia. Most of them are hot roses, so 300 million roses from those countries to Valentine. So those are huge numbers. Almost one flower per each American living here.
Some of the exported flowers include roses and carnations from Bogota, pompons, hydrangeas, and chrysanthemums from Medellin, and roses and carnations from Quito. The Valentine season actually started in mid-January and ends Wednesday. During those 3 weeks, flowers arrived in Miami on some 300 flights.
Our mission here is to avoid and stop any possible exotic pests, planned exotic pests to establish in the United States. Also, this will also include animal diseases.
According to the airport's port director, exotic pests and foreign animal diseases have cost the U.S. $120 billion annually in economic and environmental losses. And once the Valentine's rush is over, everyone involved can take a quick breath before planning begins for the next big flower day in the U.S., Mother's Day in May.
Now turning to the world of sports, Russia and Belarus continue to be banned from the Ice Hockey World Championships. The 49ers have fired their defensive coordinator, Steve Wilks. NTD's Tyler Castile has the details.
The International Ice Hockey Federation has extended the ban on Russia and Belarus to participate in Ice Hockey World Championships until 2025. Then there will be another vote to see if the ban can be extended or lifted. The vote will also affect the Olympics. As of now, Belarus can no longer participate in the final round of the Olympics men qualifying this summer. And since there is a chance that the ban can be lifted, the IIHF has stated that Russia will be eligible for the 2026 Olympics just in case it is lifted. The reasoning for this ban was cited as security concerns for players, competition staff, and fans. It was announced today that the San Francisco 49ers have fired defensive coordinator Steve Wilks, a decision made by head coach Kyle Shanahan. This decision came after Wilks completed his first season with the 49ers as the defensive coordinator. The decision could be due to playoff performances from the 49ers defense, where they didn't play badly, but they just didn't play at 100%, or at what the fans were expecting. In each playoff game this season, the final score was by under 10 points. Of course, the nation saw the 49ers lose the Super Bowl due to a late comeback effort by Patrick Mahomes in overtime, where the 49ers stated that they were not aware of the new overtime rules affecting their decision-making in the final minutes, offensively and defensively. We will keep up to date to see if there will be any other changes for the team this offseason, as they have a long list of players with expiring contracts.
History is being made as the first woman to take on play-by-play commentary for an MLB team will now be part of a Bay Area roster. NTD's Christina Corona has more on the story.
Shot into left field.
NBC Sports California announced Tuesday that Jenny Kavnar will make history as the first female primary play-by-play voice in Major League Baseball, calling the majority of the Oakland A's game calls. Kavnar replaced Glenn Kuiper as the A's play-by-play announcer following Kuiper's dismissal for using a racist slur on live TV last year. Kavnar shared on X, "Excited for the next chapter, let's go." For 12 years, Kavnar filled various roles including backup backup play-by-play announcer, pre-game, post-game host, and reporter for Colorado Rockies regional TV coverage. She made history by calling TV play-by-play for the Rockies in 2018 and providing radio analysis for a National League series in 2015. Matt Murphy, the president and general manager of NBC Sports California and NBC Sports Bay Area, said Kavnar is a groundbreaking professional who's earned the admiration of fans and her peers throughout her career. He goes on to say, "We're very excited for her to join our excellent team and lead our A's coverage starting this season." Throughout both the regular season and postseason, Kavnar contributes regularly to MLB Network Radio on Sirius XM. Christina Corona, NTD News, California.
Stay tuned for China in Focus with Tiffany Meyer coming up next. And in more China news, is China preparing for war? Beijing ramping up scale of enlisting soldiers. More details coming tonight at 9:30 on NTD's China in Focus with Tiffany Meyer. And that's all we've got for you tonight. We would like you to join us again on NTD Tonight every weekday at 9 p.m. I'm David Zhang. Have a wonderful evening.